Chip Kelly is the latest Ohio State assistant on the move as he's heading back to the NFL.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to another bonus episode of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. And during this Buckeye Blitz, we'll discuss who might be Ohio State's offensive coordinator in 2025 because Chip Kelly is the latest Ohio State assistant on the move as he's heading back to the NFL to be the offensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders. And just like Jim Knowles leaving and just like Justin Frye leaving, Chip Kelly going away from Ohio State is a massive loss. He is one of the best offensive minds in college football. Him and Ryan Day are both personal friends, which added to how big it was to get Chip Kelly to Ohio State. And in this year, it seemed to work in the way that anybody would want it to work. At the end of the day, Ohio State won a national championship during Chip Kelly's lone year in Columbus, Ohio. Now, moving forward for Ohio State, you got to put trust in Ryan Day. Ryan Day has made sure that he figures out how to replace coaches, and now it's going to be year 7 for Ryan Day. He's made some bad hires previously, but also he's made some pretty good hires and promotions, and I think you can trust Ryan Day to make sure that he gets this hire correct as well. But it's still a massive loss. Chip Kelly is one of those guys that Ohio State fans will remember November 30th, 2024, and that will be one of those games that you think about for the rest of your life because Ohio State was more talented. Ohio State had the better quarterback. Ohio State had so many things better than the team up north, but unfortunately, with Chip Kelly leading the offense, the Buckeyes only scored 10 points. It's not good enough. However, you also remember the run that they had during the playoff run where Ohio State against Tennessee looked like nobody could stop them. Against Oregon, nobody could stop them. Against Texas at Notre Dame, once Ohio State got out of their own way, it really showed and looked like nobody could stop Ohio State. That's with Chip Kelly leading the offense. And so it's a weird thing that you only get 1 year under with Chip Kelly leading the offense when you can't forget November 30th, but you also will never forget January 20th. It's just a weird little dynamic that we have right now in our heads. But I was under the impression and believing that even with Chip Kelly flirting with the NFL like he would be at Ohio State. Until I realized how long this thing was going on and being drawn out, when you only hear about a couple teams. And Chip Kelly has still been linked to those teams to possibly going back to the NFL. It's a reality that that Chip Kelly might go to the NFL after this 1 year. Where we knew before Chip Kelly came to Ohio State when he left the head coaching position at UCLA, that Chip Kelly wanted to get back to just coaching ball. Being a head coach in college football is very, very difficult. Even if you take away the NIL and the portal stuff, just simply being the head football coach of any university, man, it's difficult. It's hard. There are a lot of high demands. There's a lot of pressure on you. And once Chip Kelly got back to Ohio State or got to Ohio State and got back to just doing what he loves, he fell in love with it. I believe that him and Will Howard together that was a connection that really was perfect for the season. Now, Ohio State for next year, you want to make sure whoever you get is a recruiter. You want to make sure whoever you get can develop. You probably want to make sure whoever you get can coach at least one position at a high level. Day to day. Now, you're running the offense day to day, but it could be an OC and a quarterback coach or an OC and an O-line coach. Fill in the blank. You want to make sure that person, whoever it is, can coach the offensive coach the offense as well as coach a position group. But I think Ryan Day also wants someone that has a track record of success. And we'll discuss some guys in the very next segment that I believe have a track record of success that would possibly fill this role and do it at a high rate, be very, very successful leading the Buckeyes offense. But those are some things you want. Chip Kelly was recently out on the recruiting trail. Now, while he's being courted, you may want to say, by NFL teams, he's also out recruiting. So I can't really knock Chip Kelly for being linked to some NFL teams and just saying, no, I'm not going to do my job at Ohio State while being under contract with the Buckeyes. No, he was honoring his contract and still working for 2025. And I got to tip my cap to him and say thank you. Like, you're doing what you're supposed to do. No matter what's happening behind the scenes, you are out there on the recruiting trail and making sure you are doing everything you can to prepare for the upcoming season. At the same time, Ryan Day can lead the offense of 2025. If he truly wanted to go back to being the head coach and the offensive coordinator, I don't think he wants to, nor do I think that would be the wise move for Ohio State moving forward. What would be the wise move for Ohio State moving forward in trying to fill that OC spot on the Buckeyes assistant coaching staff? We'll dive into that next. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Super Bowl 59 is here. One game, two teams, endless possibilities. And there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, or even betting on the coin toss, FanDuel makes it easy to get in on the action. With live betting all game long, you can adjust your bets as the game unfolds and feel the thrill from kickoff to the final whistle. The live betting feature lets you stay involved no matter what happens on the field, and the app is super easy to navigate. Plus, knowing that you can place a $5 bet and potentially win 200 bonus bets for the Super Bowl, that's the icing on the cake. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet just $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, official partner of Super Bowl 59. Thank y'all for tapping into this bonus episode of Locked on Buckeyes as we react to Chip Kelly leaving Ohio State to be the offensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders. Not only is Kelly gone, Jim Knowles is gone, and there are rumors that Jim Knowles' replacement will be announced very soon, as well as Justin Fry is going to the NFL. And I lay it out that way because I believe there's one man that should be at the top of Ryan Day's list that should be the first phone call Ryan Day makes to be the next OC and O-line coach at Ohio State. His name is Kevin Wilson. Yes, it would be a rehire, and I don't think in this situation there would be anything wrong with that. Call Kevin Wilson, allow him to be the OC once again for the Buckeyes, and allow him to be the offensive line coach for Ohio State too. Because bringing Kevin Wilson back to Columbus, Ohio will improve Ohio State's run game, where in 2023 and 2024, the run game to me could have been better. A lot better than it was. Quinshawn Judkins and Travion Henderson, two really good backs. I think they both could have had better seasons in 2024. A year ago in 2023, Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams. Unfortunately, Mayan Williams got hurt, was out for the half the season. But I think even when both of them were healthy, I think the run game could have been better in 2023. And I think bringing Kevin Wilson back will not only fill a void for Ohio State's offense, it'll also fill a void for Ohio State's O-line, and it will help the running game from Jump Street. Trust me. That will also be a hire that I think will make Michigan fans nervous. Maybe more nervous than they were when Chip Kelly came to town. Because Kevin Wilson, we've seen what he does against the team up north. We see what the offense looks like. We also see what the running backs do in that game. Bring him back. There's nothing wrong with that. Bring that man back. But also, let's just say that was not the path that Ryan Day wanted to go to. You could also go with Scott Satterfield. You can go with Mike Locksley. Mike Locksley, don't think about the head coach Mike Locksley. When he was at Alabama, you could see how he ran Nick Saban's offense and how efficient it was. And there was a big reason why Nick Saban had a great run between 2015 to 2018 when he was down there running the thing down there in Tuscaloosa. Those are just a couple names. One name that I'm kind of skeptical on is Brian Hartline, because I don't think this is the time to bring a guy in or to hire a guy as a full-time offensive coordinator again that has never called plays. Ryan Day is better when he's not calling plays, when he's not having to be the leader of the football program as well as being the leader of the offense. I think Ryan Day wants to bring someone in and should bring someone in that has experience calling plays and is very successful while calling plays. I love Brian Hartline as a receivers coach. I love what he has done with the offense. His 1 year as an offensive coordinator in Columbus, I don't think everyone can say that was on Kyle McCord. I won't say that at all. I can't say that. While Ryan Day was calling plays, you can look it up. Brian Hartline has the OC tag. May it be in name only. Some people will say that, some people won't, but the title is there. I like Brian Hartline. And no matter who you bring in, I think you keep that co-OC tag with Brian Hartline along with someone coming in to fill the role of OC and offensive line coach. Or hopefully they bring an O-line coach with them, because if they can't fill both roles, that's another search for Ryan Day. And I think Ryan Day would love to have one hire, fill a couple positions, and move on with the day. Who do you think? I know I mentioned Scott Satterfield or Mike Locksley, Brian Hartline, and Kevin Wilson. Kevin Wilson is the first name on my mind, and probably will be until someone says Kevin Wilson's not going to be the guy to lead Ohio State's offense in 2025. Who do you think should be the Buckeyes offensive coordinator in 2025? I like Brian Hartline. Don't get me wrong. I think he would be better, at least right now, being the co-OC. Unless him and Ryan Day have such a great relationship that Ryan Day would say, hey, you're calling plays now in some of these games, but I'm going to do it in other games. My fear with that is we see what Ryan Day is when he doesn't have that on his plate. When that gets put back on his plate, that might be too much. All I'm going to say. Thank y'all for tapping into this bonus episode of Locked On Buckeyes. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317 at gmail.com. This has been Locked On Buckeyes here on a Sunday night. We'll see you tomorrow morning.